Good morning, everyone, wherever you are. Great you're joining us today in this all digital setting here. Let's get started. Our first guest calls himself a transformation strategist. He is a digital pioneer and author. He's passionate about change and how digital is impacting everything around us, how digitalization changes business models and impacts societies as a whole. So please welcome Jo Coudron.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. So, the story I'm going to tell you today is a story of two worlds colliding. It's a story that I describe in my latest book, The World is Round, but that I enhanced based on 8 months of insights of what the corona crisis is meaning on some of the concepts and ideas that I describe in the book. So the book predicts and projects a world in about a decade from now. A decade that gives us time to adapt to changes, digital changes, which is the one world, but also changes in society, which is the other world that I describe in the book. But the reality is that because of the corona crisis, many of these patterns were forced on a lot of people in not a decade, but in merely a week or so, with the first lockdown. So this is the story I'm going to talk about, briefly, based on this image of this mountain. Now, this mountain, for me, very much depicts the recent history of our civilization, of our Western society, of our economy. Now, the image of the mountain is something that I got years ago from an Eastern saying that goes something like this. If you go up a mountain, walking, you keep on walking, eventually you will go back down again. But if you really, really want to keep on going, you have to learn how to fly. Now, this is, for me, a very strong image of where we are as a civilization and where a lot of the current pessimism in the world is, where it is coming from. We have 75 years of evolution, 75 years of emancipation, 75 years after the Second World War in which we got chances, men and women. We got access to education, we got access to proper jobs, mobility, and so on and so on. But for the last 2 decades or so, we have this general feeling that we are on this plateau, we are on the top of the mountain. A lot of people think that if we keep on going like this, eventually we will go back down again. Now, this is a concern of the past, but also concerns of the future, what I describe in my book as the metastorm. This is the coinciding of a couple of perfect storms, things that are bound to change in the near future, let's say in the next decade. How we work, what work is, but also where work happens, where everything happens, where our life plays, work-life combinations, where we shop, and so on and so on. And the third perfect storm of change is everything that has to do with mobility. Now, in the book, I describe how these slowly interact, and in a decade from now, could create massive change in how our economy functions, how our personal lives function, and so on. And of course, these are not the only changes and concerns for the future. We have climate change, we have super diversity, we have so many other things that we have to learn how to manage. But as I said, reasons enough for a lot of people to feel a bit in doubt, to feel a bit pessimistic. Now, in the book, what I try to describe is an optimistic future. It's a future that we can believe in, with the same components, with the same pieces of the puzzle. But this time, all of the challenges in work, with AI, with flex work, all of the challenges in living, with maybe regrouping how we live, all of the challenges in mobility, if we take all of these pieces of the puzzle, can we create an optimistic worldview? That's what I describe in the book. And in that worldview, I tackle the future of work and economy and healthcare and education. And as I said in the introduction, this, in my vision, is bound to happen in 10 years. But because of the corona crisis, many of these changes happen today. Now, the question is, how durable is this? How sustainable will this be? How much of this will last forever? And the thing is, the reality, we don't know. And that's why I have this image of this corona pendulum, where it says that on the one side, we come from a world that we know so well, a world with normal distance, where we shake hands and hug people, a world where we go out to do things, we go to the office for our work, and we go to shops to buy things, and we go to a school for education, where the normal economy just functions perfectly, we have an income and we pay taxes. And then suddenly, with this corona crisis, from one moment to the other, what we had was this corona reality, with social distancing and doing everything from home, education, getting medical consult, buying, everything. But also the economy coming to a standstill. The economy being put in the freezer with taxes delayed and loans delayed and people on temporary unemployment. The global supply chain, this globalization that worked perfectly in the old model, coming to a standstill or at least slowing down in this new current situation. And the question is, where do we go to? What will be the future? And we don't know that. But one driver that can predict how much this pendulum can swing back is timing. Imagine the first lockdown would only have taken a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months, and we would currently be out of the corona crisis. Probably all of us we would want to go back to the old normal. But as this crisis lasts longer and longer, we adopt new patterns of work from home, or at least not work in the head office, of shop from home. Many people do it for the first time because of the corona crisis, but they embrace the benefits and they will keep on doing this. So depending on how long this crisis will last, more of the current patterns will become the patterns of tomorrow, will become this new, the world after corona normal, the post-corona world. We don't know what it looks like, but we can start or we can try to imagine some of the components. Now, what could that future be? In the book, I have this crystal ball. It's not really a crystal ball, but what I try to do is I try to look in the future, and there are two elements that I describe in the book already that I believe will be key in trying to understand what the world in the next couple of years could look like, a world beyond corona. There are two things that I want to highlight in this presentation. The first one is the concept of the so-called urban village, which is actually a concept of a new way of organizing ourselves in how we live. The urban village as a concept of circular living. And what do I mean by that? We have created a world in the last 75 years where we have created this kind of a linear concept. We don't work where we live. We don't shop where we live. We don't go out where we live. We take the best places. So we work somewhere else and we take a car, and we shop somewhere else and we take our car. And this was a normal and actually an optimal model after the Second World War. But we feel that there's pressure on this model now. Many people think about trying to regroup functions, and this is the core idea of the urban village idea and circular living, is that we don't have to all go back and live in a small village like we used to do hundreds of years ago and even up till the Second World War. No, this is a functional concept. We can organize ourselves so that living and working do not necessarily have to be separated all of the time. We can do this because we work from home or we work nearby, and we can do this because we have the technology for that. So it's not a matter of going back in the past, it's a matter of going back to the future with these new concepts. Now, this might seem like theory, but what we see both in cities and in villages is that it is really happening. So like this image is an image from a site, a new site in Antwerp, and we see similar new sites being constructed all around the world, everywhere in Belgium, in every European city. We see new neighborhoods being developed as a mix of living functions, shopping functions, actually everything that people do in their daily lives, but locally organized. So they don't have to move for every function, but they can move if they still want to move. So modern living is not being forced to use a car every time, but being able to use it when you want it and being able to have many functions available without being forced to use that car. So this is now recently, but what we see is that we see this everywhere with new patterns. We see in Paris the concept of the 15-minute city that got the mayor re-elected. This baseline of every Parisian should have every function available in a 15 minutes commute at the most. And what we see there is that once this happens, what we get is maybe the return of farming. Again, in this image, we get the biggest urban farm in the world is based currently in Paris. It is in Paris, providing food for people in Paris. We could get the return of manufacturing with 3D printing, with micro factories, all of that technology that maybe currently cannot compete with low-cost, faraway production in a globalized model. But if we start taking account sustainability and so on, these models very much become viable models. So, one of the key things also in the book that I describe as a result of this urban village circular living is that mobility in the essence could change. And again, all of these trends were already happening, but we see that they are getting accelerated by the corona situation. People actually thinking about, do I need this second car? Do I even need a car? Can't I organize my life with new micro-mobility models? Maybe provided by new suppliers, by platform operators that give me electric scooters and shared cars and so on and so on. Things already happening, but now accelerating because of this corona crisis. Now, the last part of this presentation, it's about the economy. Remember my mountain. Going up the mountain would mean eventually going back down again unless we find this way of finding a new way of proceeding, learning how to fly, as I said in the beginning. The problem is that if we just apply this to the economy, well, this curve of growth also follows the curve of what we have done with the planet, climate change. So many people ask me, shouldn't we just stay on top of that mountain instead of trying to find a new way to keep on growing? Now, one of the things that we start to see is that a new economical model is becoming the norm. We haven't seen it yet. Most people are not aware of the fact that the key players in the economy, the biggest ones, digital players mainly today, well, they don't want to sell stuff anymore. In a traditional economical model, like in this slide, if you want to create growth of value for your shareholders, and you make stuff like cars or anything else, the key way to do this is make more cars, sell more cars. So that's the basic idea of the traditional stuff economy. More stuff means more revenue, means more value. The thing is, the question is, does it have to be like that? Imagine we don't sell products anymore, but we get an economy where we have solutions, where we have services, where platform operators provide us a car when we need it. From that moment on, instead of us all having individual cars, we don't buy the car anymore, we use the car. An example that everyone will understand, if you have a decoder at home for digital television and internet, for instance, this is not a device you actively buy as a consumer product. It's something that is provided by your operator, by your supplier, by your provider. What you actually pay for is the subscription on top. That maybe starts with a low fee, and if you add movies and other things on top of that, it becomes a high fee. But the product, the stuff in itself, doesn't have to scale. Now, 3 examples to show how this could be applied. So you could have ownership of a car. This is your car, you can buy it. And in that model, a car brand has every incentive to produce more cars, sell more cars, to get more revenue and more profit. But imagine from the moment that we start using these cars in any form of platform, maybe I have a subscription to a car, maybe it's just a pay-per-use like Uber or like Cambio or something like that. From that moment on, if this platform is in the hands of the car brand, they have no more incentive to make more cars and sell more cars. They have incentive to have cars that last for 25 years, for 2 million kilometers, and actually that you use more. So every week, every month you use the same car, they will get more value. So we don't have to stop growing economically. We can do it in a solution model, in this peak stuff economy, by using the stuff that is already there. Second example here is IKEA. IKEA actually is trying to rent out furniture in over 30 cities around the world. Now, I don't know if you ever tried to assemble something like a Billy and disassemble it and assemble it again. Well, then it vaporizes if you try to do the 3rd time, for instance. So it's not made for sustainability. It's made to put there once and keep it there. So if they want to make this promise a reality, that you can actually rent furniture, they have to make furniture like in the age of my grandparents, durable furniture that can last for decades. So they can keep on exploiting it, putting it into the platform. And maybe the last example, just to show how things can really go far, is our weekly grocery shopping. So we go to a shop, we go to the supermarket, and everything there shouts to us, buy more. 2 + 1 for free. We have big bags of vegetables and let's say potatoes, 5 kilos of potatoes. So this is also a stuff economy. Retailers wanting us to buy more stuff in order to get their top line and to get their margin. But from the moment that we start using food solutions like a food box, a weekly food box with ingredients and a recipe, again, this paradigm shift is complete. There's no 5 kilos of potatoes in this HelloFresh box, for instance. There's maybe like 5 potatoes because that's the amount we need for the recipe. So there's no food waste. There's no incentive to put more product in it. There's only an incentive to keep us loyal to the subscription model that promises us a fresh meal 4 or 5 nights a week for our family at a fixed price. So sometimes it's vegetarian, it's only vegetables, so that's low cost for them. Sometimes it's with expensive fish, that's a higher cost. But as a consumer, we don't buy the product anymore, we buy the solution. So to end this story, where are we? We don't know. What will the future bring? We don't know, but we know some of the components that probably will get accelerated by this corona crisis. Thank you so much for your attention. Enjoy this session.
As everyone needs to adapt to this digital world, that's where Proximus comes in, guiding companies on their path to digital transformation, supporting them in their journey to a fully connected world. And by doing so, Proximus has a reason to celebrate. Welcome, Alex. So Proximus already connected more than 2 million devices to date. 2 million? Tell us all about it.
Thank you, Hannah. Yes, indeed. During the summer, we exceeded the amazing figure of more than 2 million IoT SIM cards connected on our network. This means that today, IoT SIM cards represent already more than 30% of the total Proximus Group SIM cards, and it's just the beginning. It's a big symbolic milestone for us as it demonstrates our dedication to become the trusted digital partner for our customer and our ambition to help in Belgium digitalization. Last year, at ThinkThings event in Brussels, we showed you how we were able to deliver capabilities to support you with an end-to-end approach for IoT and data analytics, starting from the project blueprint up to the integration of the final solution in your tools and systems. During this year, we worked further on these capabilities. First, we upgraded our networks on the road to become the first gigabit-enabled mobile network. We were the first operator to launch 5G in Belgium, but it's not only about 5G. We also reinforced our NB-IoT network, which has now a national coverage, and we also opened up a new IoT network technology that we call LTE-M. We created a stronger ecosystem, and we broadened our value proposal for digitalization, adding consulting capabilities. Last but not least, we also reinforced our turnkey solutions to support you, dear customers, in accelerating your digital transformation within the COVID crisis. In the course of this event, we will demonstrate all these new progress to you, and I hope you will be convinced by their value. 2020 has been really a very special year, with a sanitary and societal situation that no one could have predicted. This has massively impacted our way of behaving, socializing, but also our way of working. And during the first lockdown wave, we have seen a massive increase of new ways of digital working. We are now at the heart of a second wave, and this second wave will just push us further in the sustainable digitalization of the way we work and do business. And this year, the new format of ThinkThings is the best proof that we can adapt to the new situation. We turned the challenge of not being able to welcome you in a big room into an opportunity. So this year, we offer you a digital content with more than 20 speakers. The morning session will still be about customer testimonials, customer use cases. During the afternoon, you will have the opportunity to deep dive on specific topics via breakout session with partners, but also Proximus experts. How to remain relevant in the new normal. 2020 brought some level of chaos and disrupted our work model. How do you work without any physical interactions with customers and colleagues? How do you deal with activities that depend on physical interaction? How do you move from a personal, close, face-to-face collaboration model towards a digital, remote, output-centric model? The shift is a threat for everybody, but it's also an opportunity for the agile companies that are really successful in quickly shifting gears and adopting the new normal. What has changed during the last months regarding business digitalization? During the lockdown, companies have digitized much more activities than they ever thought. And they did it at a speed that they would never have imagined. To name only a few of the changes that happened over the last months, we saw a massive shift from company-centric connectivity to distributed employee-centric connectivity, from physical meeting rooms to massive adoption of video conferencing. We also saw a lot of implementation of remote buy and sell process becoming the standard. We saw a lot of automation of process and increased cloud adoption. Security has become even more critical. So this is a massive challenge for many of companies. We at Proximus feel like we have a mission as a digital partner, and it was our duty to make it happen during these very special months. So in terms of operations, our first critical task was to make sure that everybody would enjoy the best connectivity to remotely be able to work from home. So we increased the capacity of our networks and we closely and proactively monitored the network's load. We had no incident nor congestion, and we are very happy and proud to say that we fulfilled our mission in this regard. In parallel, we accelerated the pace of building of the networks of tomorrow. For fiber, we accelerated. So now our new ambition is to connect 4.2 million households by 2028. We also accelerated on 5G rollout, not waiting for the cumbersome spectrum allocation process to come in 2021. We pre-launched a version of 5G using our available existing spectrum. During the crisis, we also engaged to support our customers. First, we supported our government by joining the task force Data Against Corona. The purpose was there to provide mobile data to help monitoring how the virus was spreading across Belgium population. We also supported the health sector with free video consultations for doctors. We opened up our public Wi-Fi networks for hospitals, students, but also FedAsil. We provided free devices for rest homes to allow video conversation between families and residents. Also, we equipped hospitals and youth. We supported also digital transformation of the B2B sector using our full ecosystem of ICT partners. And I refer here to the collaborative solution, the new communication tools, the cloud, and the security solutions. And last but not least, we also offered free fixed and mobile traffic to companies during the first lockdown. So as you see, what we did for supporting customers in digitalization during the COVID period goes much beyond IoT and analytics. Now, specifically looking at data analytics, we launched several packages that provide discounted prices so that companies could monitor the lockdown impact, but also adapt to the reboot of the economy after the first wave. We supported cities, governments, security forces to monitor flows of people. And during this event, you will see and discover how we supported, for instance, Westour at the Belgian coast during the summer. In the IoT domain now, we launched several new solutions. One of them is the possibility to monitor the proximity of employees thanks to a wearable. Another one is about the monitoring of the ventilation of a building with CO2 level monitoring, occupancy tracking, room and desk reservation. And during the event, you will also discover other solutions and inspiring use cases. For instance, you will see how Decathlon is controlling the access to his stores and is able to monitor the people flow that goes in and out of the stores. Looking at the future now, it is really our ambition and commitment to work further on the following pillars of development. First, we will continue investing heavily in people to make sure that we deliver the most professional services to you, our customers. We will also further develop capabilities to strengthen current services, but also offer new type of services. And I will have the opportunity to come back on this aspect during my intervention this afternoon. We will also keep a strong focus on new technologies and innovation with the spirit of using these technologies to the benefit of the customers, starting from customer needs and customer use case. We will reinforce our partnerships with leading Belgian companies, and we'll hope so to bring a strong expertise in new domains, relying on business complementarity rather than competition. We will also continue developing and supporting our ecosystem of solution providers, as this is the best way to develop and offer customer-centric solutions. It is also our ambition to further invest in specific verticals, and I will come back on this during the afternoon. All this with one goal: becoming more than ever your trusted partner in digitalization and contribute positively to the Belgian economy. And now, what's on the agenda of this morning? We will start with the Belgian Railway Company, and in this use case, you will see the extreme power of combining various data analytics technologies. We will then continue with Westour, and there you will discover how is it possible to easily and swiftly roll out mobile data analytics to get valuable insights. Then Decathlon will explain you how it is possible to easily monitor the indoor customer flow into shops in order to offer a safe, healthy, and better customer experience. VRT will then be on stage to explain all the benefits they will get from 5G. After that, with Flanders Make, you will discover how digitalization can help to improve efficiency and competitiveness in industry. And to close the morning session, BBAT and Unitron will explain you how they use IoT to create a more sustainable world. So, I wish you a very pleasant and fruitful morning session. Talk to you later. And I now give the word to Stéphane Koster from Belgian Railways.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm going to talk about a project where we have proved that data can help us manage the mobility of the future. My name is Stéphane Koster, and I am responsible for the digital team at SNCB. And I would say that I am also the co-founder, the proud co-founder of the SNCB Innovation Lab. I think that our company does not need a lot of introduction, as I might think that many of you are a customer of our company and have used one of our services. Maybe you are one of the almost 1 million people, and pre-COVID times, of course, we are transporting on a daily, weekly basis, on a daily basis in the week. Maybe you are using one of our more than 3,000 trains a day, or maybe in the last few weeks, you have parked your bike in one of the more than 100,000 bike parking spots at SNCB. And the bike is a good example of the changing environment of mobility today. And that's maybe also one of the main reasons why we have created the SNCB Innovation Lab, the SNCB Innovation Program even. What are the 3 missions of our program? And you can see it here on the slide. First of all, we want to have one innovation language. We want to discuss with our employees how we manage an innovation program and an innovation project like the one I'm going to talk about today. Secondly, we do not want to be the one and only shiny innovation team. We want to do it together with the many colleagues. We're more than 17,000 people in the company. So we want to spread the culture of innovation. And I would say, in terms of this, it's maybe difficult to use the word, but spread it like a positive virus throughout the company. And last, and certainly not least, the most important mission is that we want to solve customer needs. And the project today is a good example of a transversal project we have led within the innovation team, which has helped us gain insights on different data models and help us build the mobility of the future. There's 4 main achievements or 4 main initiatives we have taken to achieve these big goals of the Innovation Lab. First of all, there's the lab. It's a small, dedicated, highly skilled team of project managers being able to manage a product like the one we're going to talk about today. As I said before, we do not want to do it alone. We want to do it with a community of people. And the third one, and very important, and that's maybe why we're here today, we do not want to do it alone. We want to do it with partners. Proximus made us a very good proposal for the project, and we wanted to work with Proximus on this project. And a premiere for next year, we also want to launch an accelerator program where we want to kickstart innovative ideas within the company and bring them to the next level. So over to the project. The project we are going to talk about today is passenger counting. And as a wise man said once, you have to start with the why. So why do we need data? First of all, and let me give you a little secret, only 22% of our sales today is digital. And digital, I mean through the application, the mobile application, or the website. A lot of sales today at SNCB is anonymous. We do not know our customer well enough. So data can help us to get better information, to improve the customer experience, and to communicate on a more personalized way to our customers. Of course, it can also help a lot different stakeholders by giving more information about the customers. We can manage our business better. We can have a better transport plan. We can work on predictive maintenance. We can have a better revenue management. So the data is very crucial. Now, how are we going to do that? We've talked about the why. How are we going to do that? Well, we need digital. We need digital data. Why digital? Because today we work a lot on a manual basis. A lot of countings, both in the stations and in the trains, are done on a manual basis. And I think that digital information and the technology that exists today can bring a lot of added value, more added value than we have today, because we want to know more about the customer. We do not only want to know how many people are on the station, but we also want to know the flow. How are they moving throughout the station? And maybe also in the train, who is on the train? Not only how many people are on the train, but who is on the train, which origin, which destination, and where do they come from? And we believe very strongly that digital information, that technology that exists today, can help us achieve these very important goals for us today. As you know, SNCB is quite a complex company. We have many stakeholders. That means that the information we need will serve many different purposes. We have the people from stations who want to know how many people are coming into stations, how many people are visiting the shops, and which kind of flow are they using to get to the tracks or to get in and out the station. We have Publifair, the advertising company, who do not only want to know how many people are in the station, but how many people have seen the advertisement in the station. Of course, we have marketing and sales, who wants to know who's in the train, which kind of subscription do they have, and so on and so on. And you have the management, strategy department, transport department, who really want to know trends, who want to know how is the situation evolving. Certainly, in the terms of crisis we have today, these kind of data have been proven very, very valuable for our company. So what did we do? Let me guide you to a few project highlights that we have achieved the last few months and the last year together with the partner Proximus and their partners. So first of all, we wanted to count in stations. We wanted to count in 2 stations, and this is a proof of concept. We want to test a few technologies, and we certainly want to test if the technology can bring what we are expecting it should do. So first of all, we tested in 2 stations. We also wanted to count in trains, so in a train itself. And a third one, we also wanted to count on what we call a relation, so between Brussels and Antwerp, between Liège and Charleroi, on different trajectories. We wanted to know how many people are getting on the train and how many people are getting off the train. And I would say, last but not least, we want to have this data available by preference on a daily basis or even in real time, and we want to have it visualized in a clear dashboard that is available for the different stakeholders. So let me guide you a little bit through the project. So as I said, we have tested it in 2 stations. You can see the beautiful station of Schaarbeek, and then the more complex station, one of the biggest stations in Belgium, with an average of 150,000 visits pre-corona per day, the station of Brussels South. Those 2 stations were fully equipped with different technology. We used more than 4 different kind of technologies. Thanks to the cooperation with Proximus and B-Mobile, we were able to test and starting from the use case, decide for which technology we wanted to go. And we used 4 technologies. First of all, we used smart sensors or cameras and IoT devices, and those were mainly used to have very precise information on a very specific location. We had also had Wi-Fi, the third technology, which is more convenient for high-level figures on how many visitors we have in different zones. And we also used the Proximus mobile data, mobile analytics, information from the network, more for the profiling of the customers. We had more than 140 devices installed in Brussels South and Schaarbeek, and we had very good results with them. More than 90% accuracy. We did live testing, we did live countings to see on different spots what was the accuracy, and we were very happy with the results, more than 90% accuracy. And we had a dashboard for the last year. We had a dashboard available 24/7, and again, certainly in this period of crisis, this information has been proven very, very valuable. And let me guide you to some visuals of the dashboard we are using. The first one you can see here is based on mobile data. It's where we can see where the visitors are coming from. This was information we did not have before. So you can see here that maybe a quarter of the visitors of Brussels South is coming from another country. Brussels South, as you know, is also a hub for TGV, Thalys, and so on. So a lot of visitors coming from outside the country. 50% approximately comes from Flanders and Wallonia, and 1/4 of the people also comes from Brussels itself. So very valuable information. And the second slide you will see here is gives you the impact, and you can all guess what happened in March. We had the lockdown, so this information again proved very, very valuable for us, for the management, for top management, to follow up on the crisis and to see what was the evolution of number of visitors, number of travelers in the trains and in the stations. So you can see the impact of the first lockdown, and you can see the impact of the second lockdown end of October, November. So again, very important information. And we saw that traffic in Brussels South dropped down to 10% during the first lockdown, and now up to 20-30% second lockdown. We can also see the flow. So the station was divided in different zones. From one zone to another, we had information how people are traveling throughout the station, where they come into the station, where they go out, and how long they are staying. We can see the dwelling time, so we can see for each location, for each zone, where do they enter, where do they go out, and how long are they staying. Again, very valuable information for the people of stations, for the people managing the concessions, the shops in the stations. Security-wise, very valuable information. So we had some feedback about the different stakeholders. The people of stations were very happy with the information. The people of strategy used the dashboard, I think, almost on a daily basis to manage the crisis we are having today. So again, this was important information for us, important data, which can help us manage our business better, not only on a commercial way, but as I said before, also towards the customer. People knowing, for instance, we have the application of Move Safe, where we also want to give the information back to the customer, to the traveler. We want to inform them how many people are going to be on the next train. We want to inform them how many people are going to be in the station. And in these kind of times we are living today, this kind of information is very important, not only for SNCB itself, but of course for the customers. And also for the transport department. These kind of information can help us manage the transport plan. The planning of the rolling stock can be managed throughout information like that. So how many trains should we put into the program to go to the coast? How many trains should we put to go to Brussels? So it can really help us manage our business better. We have mainly discussed today about the first project, counting and passengers in the stations. As I said before, there's also counting in the trains and counting on relations. These projects are still going on. We have promising results. We are not there yet, like installing material or technology in a train seems to be quite difficult. So that's maybe something to think about. How can we do this better, and how can technology help us to achieve these goals? So I would say this is not the end. This is certainly not the end of the project. It has proven on a very quickly way, it has proven its added value, and it was the first project of the Innovation Lab, and we already had, I think this project helped us to go to the top management and to free up more budget for a project like that, so it showed really value. And I would say next step, let's co-create, let's work together with you. We are working with your teams on the next level for counting on relations, because we strongly believe that mobile technology or other technologies can certainly help with that. Voilà, I would thank you very much. I would like to thank you very much for listening and have a great day in this ThinkThings environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefan. Amazing how IoT and data analytics help you to gain insights about travelers and passenger flows in stations, trains, and trajectories. We can imagine this brings added value to make certain policy decisions. For example, during the peak period in summer when many people travel to the coast. Wondering if data solutions to gather visitor insights are used in this region. Today, we have Darlene van Dalen here with us, Team Manager Knowledge Center of Westo. Very welcome, Darlene. First of all, do you use big data to monitor tourism at the Belgian coast?
Yes, we indeed used similar techniques and visitor analytics, focusing on real-time crowd management.
Okay, I think that everybody is very curious now on how you did that, so I leave the floor to you, Darlene.
Thank you. Before I explain to you how we monitored tourism at the Belgian coast this summer, I would first like to explain a little bit more on Westour. Westour is the provincial agency for tourism and recreation in West Flanders. As such, we are situated between the Flemish government and the local authorities. Our main goal is to support tourism in West Flanders. We want to develop sustainable and qualitative tourism. Therefore, we cooperate with different actors, especially with the public and the private sector. Next to the art city of Bruges, we distinguish 4 touristic regions in our province, of which the Belgian coast is the most important one because it has the largest volume of tourist activity. As such, taking into account the measures to control the spread of COVID-19, we faced a big challenge. In 2019, we counted 600,000 people present on the busiest day at the coast. In addition to the 220,000 inhabitants, we also had 206,000 day visitors and 72,000 overnight tourists in commercial accommodation and another 94,000 overnight tourists in second residences in one day. However, if we take into account all the beds available for tourists at the coast, the challenge becomes bigger because it was expected that a lot of Belgians would spend their vacation in their own country, and we could thus expect more people to be present at the coast this summer. In fact, we estimated that about 720,000 people could be present at the coast. Especially the overnight tourists could increase. More specifically, the overnight tourists in the second residences, as people were more reluctant to travel abroad. We had a big question how we could welcome the optimal number of visitors in a safe environment at the Belgian coast during summer. Here there are two keywords. On the one hand, we have welcome. We would like that the people feel welcome when they come to our coast. And we also have safety. It's important to emphasize safety and complying with the measures. To answer that question, we chose the strategy to spread tourist activity in time and in space. In time, because a lot of people prefer coming to the coast on a Saturday, on a Sunday in the afternoon, and in our communication, we emphasized that there is a lot of fun happening at the coast in the morning or on weekdays. And also spreading tourist activity in space. Therefore, we needed a tool that indicated that next to the popular beaches at our Belgian coast, there are a lot of other quiet locations worth a visit. For that tool, it was important to have one tool for the entire coastline, because one tool means one measurement level, one level that defines when a location is overcrowded. And when we have one tool, we also have one communication about the entire coastline. So that was very important. But we needed a higher level of detail than just the coastal municipalities. We needed a lower level. So we had contact with Proximus, and we developed in co-creation with Westour, the coastal municipalities, and Proximus, a barometer. The barometer was based on mobile phone data and on the algorithms of Proximus to make a real-time estimation of the people present. Together with the 10 coastal municipalities, we defined 61 zones along the entire coastline, of which we wanted to know the level of activity. And Westour defined the 4 levels of activity. We had quiet, normal, busy, and extremely busy. These were the levels that the Knowledge Center defined. However, when we took this back to our marketing department, they told us, yeah, normal, we think it's better to call it pleasant. Finally, before we launched the tool, we tested the tool in the field. The local municipalities and a group of colleagues of Westour went to the coast to see with their own eyes if the level of activity in the zone matches the color indicated by the barometer. An important element in this barometer are the levels of activity. We used a number of indicators to define these. First of all, we have the number of inhabitants in the zone. How many people live there? Then we have the number of beds available for the tourists. We have the beds in the tourist accommodation and the beds in the second residences. Of course, the surface of the area is taken into account, and more specifically, the space that could be used by tourists. And for those zones along the beach, we also incorporated the surface of the beach. In the development of the tool, we have two types of dashboards. We have the public dashboard and the dashboard for management. In the public dashboard, you can see the 61 zones and their colors. This dashboard was updated every 15 minutes. The dashboard for management was password protected, so you needed to log in, but we had a dashboard for each municipality. So each municipality could monitor the level of tourist activity in the zones of their community. And an important feature of this dashboard for management was the possibility to export the data for further analysis. The tool was developed by Proximus and Comel.io. The tool was used for the organization in the field and for the communication to the general public. When we look at the organization in the field, of course, the dashboard was used for continuous monitoring. But it was also used in a proactive and a reactive way. In the proactive way, we looked at the evolution of people present in each zone, and we could evaluate if additional safety measures should be taken or if additional police assistance was needed. In the reactive way, the data of the tool was used as input for crisis meetings, and we also used it to evaluate certain events. For example, there is a weekly market in the Panne on Saturday. In the beginning of July, we could see that in that zone, it was very, very busy. So the mayor of the Panne decided to reorganize the market and to make it a safer experience for its visitors. We also used the tool to communicate to the general public. So we integrated the tool in our website, thekust.be, in the 4 languages, and it was also incorporated in the website of 7 coastal municipalities. It was also integrated in the websites of certain news channels and of the railway organization. Moreover, the tool itself generated a lot of media attention, especially in newspapers, the radio, the television, and we could use the tool in our own social media. It was also interesting that we could use the signs above the highway to indicate car drivers what was the level of activity at the coast. So to conclude, I would like to give you some facts and figures. During summer, during July and August, we had 11 zones of the 61 that turned orange and thus extremely busy. This already indicates the fact that the high level of tourist activity is concentrated in a limited number of locations. We also had the level of extremely busy in 3 weekends. So in the other weekends, it was quiet or pleasant at the coast. And research indicated that half of the Belgians know the tool. Even 7 out of 10 of the people in Flanders know the tool. In total, we had 1.9 million views of the barometer during summer, and we had one day with a peak in website visitors of 105,000 views. On other busy days, we had about 70 or 80,000 views on the barometer. And after summer, we asked ourselves the question, what brings the future? In the current circumstances, we want to keep spreading tourist activity in time and in space. Moreover, the tool was highly appreciated by local authorities and the public. When we look further in the future, we see that the barometer is even interesting in a post-COVID-19 era, because some people look for locations that are quiet, while other people look for locations where it's pleasant or busy. So this can also be answered by the tool. However, we see that there is still a challenge because people and management expect more. They want to know how many time people are present in a zone. They want to see the flows between the zones, and they want to have more information, for example, on the background of the visitors. So this means that we have a big challenge to face in the next weeks and months. Thank you for listening, and we hope that big data will be the solutions for our future challenges.
Thanks, Darlene, for your inspiring story. And nice to hear that data analytics can, in some way, contribute to the challenges we face during these exceptional times. Let's take a closer look to another similar challenge in a completely different sector like retail. Shops that are open may only allow a limited number of people at once. Decathlon was a front runner in implementing the IoT solution that counts people going in and going out of a store called entrance monitoring. So now let me introduce you to Olivier Flamand, Data and CRM Manager at Decathlon, who can tell all about the innovative project they implemented the past month. So, Olivier, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Olivier Flamand. I am Data and CRM Manager at Decathlon Belgium. Today, I will shortly present you how Decathlon addressed the new challenges in this disruptive time of COVID-19. I am working on it. My job consists to coordinate the strategy of both departments, data and CRM. I recruit and manage the internal experts, but I select and choose also the agencies and the tools we work with. Decathlon aims to personalize the customer and user experience by having a data-driven approach. My mission is to reach this goal. Decathlon is an amazing story. It's a success story. It's not only a store, it's an innovative brand with a purpose, which is be useful to people and to the planet. More than ever, this purpose makes sense today. Decathlon, we have 96,000 employees, teammates working in 51 countries. We count 1,500 stores. We have also 275 million sport users. In Belgium, we count 2,500 people, 37 stores, an e-commerce website, and a warehouse. But what makes this story a success story? We knew strong growth during the last decade. The key is in our sense, in our mission, make sustainably the pleasure and benefits of sports accessible to the many. The key elements of our success are the people and the passion. We try to connect both elements as much as possible. None of our team members are only shopkeepers. All of them are passionate about their sports. They are sporters. And their mission is to share their passion to our customers when they meet them offline and online. The second reason of our success is the decision to develop technical products at the lowest price. Without compromise on quality, on security, but always by controlling hand-to-hand all the steps: the design, the conception, the production, the storage, the distribution. So we have many opportunities to streamline and optimize the process. And handily, to make it happen, the innovation. We need innovation. Innovation in our equipments, innovation in our services, but also innovation how we sell our products. Every day we launch new products, but we are always looking to be more efficient. And so we need innovation for efficiency. Our philosophy, innovation, tomorrow starts today. And because tomorrow starts today, we develop a new concept store, the DX store. The digital is everywhere in this project. We assess new technologies and we test new services our customers will find tomorrow in our stores. If you want to know more about this shop, I invite you to join the live session this afternoon. So with the COVID-19, we have to face new challenges and new opportunities. Among the challenges, you find the HR management. We have to adapt the HR costs. We have also to reconsider some expenses for change management, for expansion, for communication, for IT. We knew also during the first lockdown a break in the supply chain due to a production stop. We have to apply new regulation which are more restrictive. And handily, we can observe in our shops new customer behaviors, new customer expectations. But it's an opportunity because we have to transform our shops to answer these needs. There are also other opportunities than the transformation of our shops. You find the increase in online sales. Our e-commerce website is developing very fast and will soon become a marketplace. So we'll be able to offer a larger range of products and services online. There is also the connection between sport and health. More than ever, the well-being is important and a priority for companies and for consumers. Recently, we developed online programs, online sport and health programs to move better, to breathe better, to eat better. So we'll be able to tackle this problem and to answer these new needs. With the COVID-19, as I previously said, the number we have to control and monitor the number of customers and visitors in a store. And we have also to better understand their behavior, their journey in store. So we called on Proximus. They installed sensor in the store to count the people entering and going out, but also monitor their journey across the shelves and in the shopping area. They expose the results on a display, and following the number of visitors in the shop, the access is allowed, limited, or denied. The solution is composed by a totem with a screen to display the results and the communication. Two-way infrared sensors are positioned at the entrance and the exit of the shows. Wi-Fi sensors are covering the shelves to monitor the inflow. There is also the possibility to install camera for more accurate results. All the data collected are processed and exposed in a management web platform. It's important to tell that all the measures, all the decisions taken in this project respect privacy and are GDPR compliant. Proximus installed 25 stores in 2 weeks. The added value of this project is that it answers several questions from customers and several expectations for retailers. The questions from customers: am I allowed to enter or not? We defined the maximum visitors gauge. Is it the right moment to do shopping? The peak and off-peak moments are displayed on the totem, but also on the website of Decathlon. The system allows us to give also sanitary instructions to our customers and also to give information about the management of the waiting time. So this system gives extra experience and extra services to our customers. The added value for the retailers is also important. We just saw it. We are able to improve, optimize the customer experience because it provides us important insights about the customer behavior and the customer journey in our stores. The collected data are displayed in a web platform, which is helping us to monitor the inflow of customers and get statistics. So, in short term, the real-time data can help us to swiftly react by being alerted when there is a peak of customers' inflow. In longer term, these statistics can help us also to monitor the performance of the shop, to improve the productivity, to understand the shopping path, etc. At the end, it will also impact the HR management, the communication, the marketing strategy, the building of our shops. Now the relation with Proximus is going broader. Decathlon, as Proximus, are engaged for sustainability. We are opening our stores to Proximus initiative. Don't miss the call. The purpose of this initiative is to place containers to collect all smartphones and all tablets in order to recycle them. We are also looking with Proximus how we can support them to have a more sustainable mobility. We also start a project to replace the price tag in the shelves by electronic and connected shelves labeling. Thank you very much for your attention.
And thank you, Olivier. And it's so nice to hear that so much innovative projects are going on. And now, dear guests, it's time to have a break. Very curious what songs you all voted for. So let's go live to the Praga Khan studio for an unplugged session. Enjoy the music, and we see you again in about 10 minutes.